Hi, this is Matt with Penergic Life. Today we are going to add the new Holosun 407K, which is the 6 MOA version of the micro dot that goes on the SIG 365XL. It actually has the Shields footprint, the British site, the Shields. It's got that same footprint, which is the same footprint as the Romeo, the SIG Romeo 0. This optic right here, you do not have to take the optic off to change the battery, and it's IP67 waterproof. So it's a pretty nice little setup. It's got a built-in rear sight that co-witnesses with the existing front sight that's already on the 365 XL. So obviously this gun is already cut for an optic, so we're going to put this on and we'll come back and see you on the other side. And here is what we end up with. We have the 407K.
See you guys, everybody see the little red dot right there?
And you can see the rear sight and the front.
Yep.
This is, I've got the 407K, which is the single dot, not the circle dot on here. And it's a 6 MOA dot. Personally, I don't see why anybody wants the smaller dots, but a lot of the competition guys are going smaller and smaller and smaller. I think 6 MOA is perfect. I really liked the triangle that Leupold had in the Delta Point. I really like the circle dot that Holosun does offer. The reason why I didn't get the circle dot was it was a little more expensive, and I had to go on a waiting list. I've been waiting for this optic since January. But this is going to be a beautiful setup. And there you go. You got 15 plus 1. You've got the optic on it. That's IP67 waterproof. You've got the backup sight built into it that co-witnesses with the front sight. And this is just a kick-ass gun. It really is. So we're going to shoot this tomorrow. I'm going to zero it in and shoot it, and we'll give you a full report when we're done. I am out today in the northwest woods of Wisconsin at our compound at an undisclosed location. I'm having to prop my phone up on an ammo box because I forgot to bring anything to hold this damn thing. Doing a test on the new Holosun 407K. I've been waiting for this optic here since January. It's come in, we got it on the gun. I'm going to do a test. This is the 407K, so it's got the single 6 MOA red dot, doesn't have the circle, but it's got the adjustment right here, the battery tray right there, so you don't have to take the optic off. It's IP67 water resistant, so it's a little bit more than the Romeo 0. I've shot the Romeo 0, it kicks ass, awesome optic. This one has the notch in the back that co-witnesses with the front sight. Going to be, I've done a preliminary zero on this. I'm going to do a little bit more. Just do some minor shooting, give you my initial impressions, and go from there. There's a lot of options out there with these micro red dots. I guess that's what you would call them. I really like the new crop of smaller carry handguns, like the 365 series. This is an XL. But I also like the Glock 43X, as well as some of the older models that are out there, the M&P Shield and the Walther PPS. A lot of options. Optics are the way of the future. I'm going to review this one today, and we'll go from there. One quick point I do want to make about this gun. These small guns are awesome. The thing is, the way you fit a full-size handgun and the way you fit this is going to be completely different. This gun is made small and narrow for a reason, to be concealable. Okay, your full-size duty gun, you're going to be able to fit to make it fit you just right. And when we fit a gun, we try to get it to where we like to put our finger on the trigger, whether that be the very, very tip right here, the meaty part of the finger, or even back towards that knuckle. There is not a right answer on one of those. It's provided you're able to fit the gun correctly to your hand and get good trigger control. Now, primarily on my big guns, like the X5, I use the very pad of my finger at the top. These smaller guns makes that a little bit impossible, so I do something here. On the smaller guns, when I get my grip on the gun, I bury my finger all the way through because I don't want to create a fulcrum. If I were to put the pad on my finger, do you see that space in between the gun and my hand? we want to try to get as much meat on this firearm as possible. So, in order for me to do that, I bury my finger all the way through. I'm not creating a fulcrum, right? This enables me to be more consistent with my trigger press. All right, you can actually feel when I add the grip from my support hand on there and I depress this trigger with my trigger finger, I can actually feel my finger rubbing against the web of my support hand. Perfectly all right, but in order to control these smaller guns, they are harder to shoot. That's just physics. And it's a little trick that it works for me. Try it, it might work for you. I'm zeroing this gun right now. What I'm trying to do now, it's one of these things. There's more than one way to skin a cat. Usually, I zero an optic on a pistol at 10 yards. SIG will tell you 15 yards. Right now, I'm at 25 yards. Okay, it doesn't matter. Just be consistent in what you do. I'm not being consistent today, but I want to zero this at 25 and just see how she shoots. I've played with it a little bit here. I think I've got her pretty close to dialed in. These guns, you got to do everything right, especially at distance. If you do your part, you can actually make really, really, really long shots with these guns. But sloppiness gets amplified in this. Okay, it's very, very, very easy to do. I always talk about the three amigos. I know a lot of people say if you live low and to the left, it's a trigger squeeze. I'm going to contend it's most likely not trigger squeeze, especially if you're able to use a reset and you have pretty good trigger placement and trigger control. I'm going to say these fingers come in. So I'm a right-handed shooter. These fingers are referred to as the three amigos, and what we tend to do is over grip with these. We should be providing more grip with our support hand, and on these guns it's very easy to try to get control of them because they're so thin. With our shooting hand, it's human nature. So these fingers come into play quite a bit, and you've got to constantly adjust yourself or you will live low and to the left. Once you do everything right, these things are extremely capable. They're extremely accurate. I know a lot of people say, well, they're designed to be shot up close in a defensive situation. Any gun is, okay, that you're using as a defensive situation type gun, for the simple reason that 99% of all defensive shootings happen at 7 yards and less, 21 feet and less. So, yes, while that is designed to be able to be shot at close distances, right, these guns are very, very capable and accurate out to great, great distances, 25, 50, 75, even 100. So, just remember when you shoot these things and you're going to carry it, shoot it a lot and practice the fundamentals, because these things, a small mistake punishes you a lot more than if you were shooting a bigger gun. But I'm at about 10 to 12 yards here, and I'm just moving in just to see where my shot placement is now after I've zeroed this at 25. Be very, very consistent before you start trying to pick up speed, especially when you're zeroing one of these and you want to see where your gun is shooting. Slow it down, concentrate on the fundamentals, especially with these small guns. I mean, it's a big difference. Picking up the X5 or a full-size gun, it's almost like second nature, ding, 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 right? When you pick these things up, it's another ball game. And what are you going to carry? You're not going to carry an X5 around. You're going to be carrying a small gun. Shoot with that small gun. I keep reiterating this, but I'm going to keep on saying it. We're doing it again. I really do like this optic. I've had a combination here today of real bright sunlight and a little bit of overcast. The optic performs in both situations very, very well. It's easy to adjust. The adjustments actually make a difference. It seems like it's pretty damn durable. I don't want to test it and smash it out. I pay for all of this stuff, so I'm not doing that. There are other channels that'll do that. It will get put under hard use. It will be trudged around and dragged through rivers and everything else wherever I go out in the woods. So it's going to get if anything happens to this, I'll do a follow-up on this, if anything unexpected as far as reliability or anything along these lines. So far, it looks like it's a fantastic little optic. Okay, I zeroed this at 25 yards. I brought it up to about 10 to 12 yards and did some plate work with some 8-inch steel plates. Now I'm back at 50 yards, and I'm just going to play around, go slow, take my time, and see if I can get some hits at 50. Overall, while I don't have a ton of shooting on this yet, ton of rounds through this gun or this optic, I really like it so far. I can't see. I know I've seen some reviews on this already that said the glass isn't the greatest. I'm not quite sure what they're talking about. I don't know how much more you could expect. At the end of the day, this optic is around $200, and I think it's a phenomenal value. I'm amazed at the quality of the gear that we can buy today for the price. So far, this is really impressed me. I really like it. I don't regret this purchase whatsoever. I will continue to shoot this quite a bit. I would say if you're on the fence about buying one of these, I would say go ahead and pull the trigger, because it is pretty damn cool. And I really don't have anything bad to say about it. All right, if you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. Remember to check out our website, www.prenergiclife.com. Remember to live in freedom every day.